misafirlerimiz ve basın alabilir miyim lütfen?
Sayın Bakanım, değerli dernek başkanları, pek kıymetli misafirlerimiz ve basınımızın güzide temsilcileri, açılış törenimize hepiniz hoş geldiniz. 2 yılda bir iklimlendirme sektörünün tüm dünyadan temsilcileri tek çatı altında
Representatives of the climatization sector.
birlikleriyle sektörün büyüme ivmesine önemli bir katkı sunan ISK-SODEX'in 2023 organizasyonunun herkes için verimli geçmesi en büyük ümidimiz. Cumhuriyetimizin 100. yılını kutladığımız bu günlerde sizlerle bir araya gelmek ise ayrı bir mutluluk kaynağı. İklimlendirme sektöründeki gelişmelere şahitlik edeceğimiz, yeni nesil teknoloji ve çözümleri keşfedeceğimiz ISK-SODEX'in herkes için bol keyifli geçmesini dilerken, açılış konuşmalarını yapmak üzere Hannover Messe SODEX Fuarcılık Genel Müdürü Sayın Anika Kırar'ı kürsüye davet ediyorum.
ISK-SODEX right now belongs to the three big worldwide shows for the Asian art sector. So we can be very proud here in Turkey having this big show with so many great exhibitors who are showcasing really, really great products. And this year especially about sustainability, energy saving, and high efficiency solutions. So if you explore the halls, you will find a lot of trends and like newest developments in this industry. This year, we are at a new location. We are at Istanbul Expo Center, closer to the city center, so it is much more convenient for our participants, visitors, exhibitors coming here and doing business and afterwards enjoying our beautiful Istanbul because we are having a huge international crowd this year at this event as well. So we are proud that the whole fairground is covered. It's around 120,000 square meter, and we host 900 companies, and approximately 200 of them are coming from abroad. This is a huge success, and we are happy of you here. So, despite Turkey, Germany, China, and Italy have the largest participations here, and there are a lot of other countries representing companies at the fair. So, and like, as you know, in Turkey at the moment, the economy is doing quite well, especially in international trade. We are expecting a lot of international visitors, and thanks to this hosted by a program, we can like welcome 300 hosted buyers this year at the fair from 69 countries and really all over the world. So, in the last edition of SODEX 2021, our exhibitors reached a business volume, a trade volume of $500 million, and this year we are expecting to even double this volume here at the fair. So we guess that our exhibitors will have been in business. Despite that, what we are doing here as well is having a big like side program because we are taking a look into like educating people and like talking about trends and challenges for the future. So here at the stage we will host 25 sector forums, and especially today and tomorrow we will have on the other side
Of this night stage, the
massive
and
and their industry
this will come, and like
seeing what kind of like challenges they can tackle, like really practical based. And we are very happy that this arena is sponsored by Wormhouse, Formel Plastic, Ruttenberger, Giacomoni, Unival, and Yield Klima. And on Friday, we have for the very first time high school students here who will have a competition, Masters of the Future. So we are really looking to those Masters of the Future and those high school students who will be here and like showing what they can and like challenging with each other. And due to the 100th anniversary of the Turkish Republic, our traditional painting contest named this year Our Republic in 100th Anniversary. The winners of the participation, some of them you can see already if you take a look back, will be announced at the end of the ceremony, and like our minister will give like the plaquettes to them. So we are happy having you here, dear children. So congratulations to the 100th anniversary of Turkish Republic by Ramiz Kutlu Olsun, wishing all our participants a perfect fair, good business, have fun at ISK-SODEX. Kolay gelsin, and thank you very much.
We would like to thank dear Annika Klar for her remarks. Now I would like to give the floor to ISK Board Chairman, Mr. Çilingiroğlu, to the stage. Esteemed Minister, esteemed heads of associations, dear guests. At the outset of my remarks, I would like to thank everyone for making this exhibition possible, and many great contributions have been made, especially by the great visionary Mr. Metin and Mr. Levent Aydın also greatly contributed to this exhibition. I want to commemorate them as well because we loved them recently. SODEX has now become one of the most important exhibitions of this, and dear brother Metin is unable to be with us while we're cutting the ribbon because he passed away. And it's going to be a pain in our hearts, but it is thanks to the vision that he drew for us that we're going to expand this exhibition, and we're going to continue our endeavors to make this world more sustainable. Esteemed participants, this is a human-made chaos that we're focusing right now, that we're facing right now, and we are now grappling with certain basic problems, and unfortunately we have to take an action now. The global climate change, energy problems, ongoing wars, and food and healthcare problems have all become very urgent agenda items for us, and at the very center of these problems lie us human beings. And as engineers, we need to look into that, and when it comes to the solution of these problems, without dealing with our ego coming from this profession, we have to actually generate some solutions because we cannot really ensure efficient energy savings alone, and we need to focus on that. And especially in this region that we're in, we are feeling the chaos more and more strongly, and we need to raise the awareness of this industry, and we will see that there is also heightened awareness here. All the negative conditions, and despite all the negative conditions, this exhibition has a uniting power, and it shows that the work industry is quite together with the medical industry to be stored and frozen under certain cooling conditions, and this is also quite important, and the pandemic has shown
sağlıklı iklimlendirme çözümleri çalışmalar ve araştırmalar devam edecektir. Enerjinin etkin kullanılmasında iklimlendirme sektörümüze büyük görevler düşmektedir. Fosil kaynaklardan yenilenebilir enerji kaynağı kullanımına geçişi sağlamalıyız. Sera gazı etkilerini yok etmek için F-gaz protokollerine, Paris İklim Anlaşma gereklerine uymamız gerekiyor. Yurt dışı pazarlarda yer edinebilmek için güç birliğine giderek gerekiyorsa üretimde birleşmelere, kümelenmeye ve bireysel çalışma yerine takım çalışma kültürüne ağırlık vermeliyiz. Üretimlerimizin yurt içi ve yurt dışı tanıtımları için ISK-SODEX fuarının daima bir fırsat olarak görmekteyiz. Değerli hazırım, çok değerli
esteemed guests, before I conclude my remarks, I would like to mention the centennial year of the Republic. This is a great source of enthusiasm for us, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. 100 years ago,
Cumhuriyet bugün 72
living in poverty, and now we are a home and a hosting country for an international exhibition with thousands of visitors from overseas. It is thanks to the success of the Republic. I hope this exhibition proves quite beneficial for all of you.
Sayın Sardan Çilingir,
We would like to thank Mr. Çilingiroğlu for his remarks. Now I would like to give the floor to the Mehmet Hakkı Şanal. Esteemed Minister, esteemed Deputy Minister, heads of associations and unions, thank you very much for being with us here. Today we are hosting the 16th edition of this exhibition. Welcome. Before I start my remarks, I would like to thank a few persons who made great contributions to this exhibition. And Levent Aydın, I would we have growing and improving R&D systems, and there are great investments made in this industry. This is how we are enjoying the position that we attain today. And right next to the exhibition area, Wall Hotel is hosting some 400 guests, and we had B2B talks. We have a great interest from overseas this year. As the work industry across the world, 580 billion USD is the import volume of this particular industry, and Turkey would like to obtain a share of 1.5% from this, and we are currently standing at 1.3%, and 7 years ago it was only 1%. Many developments have been taking place in the world when it comes to Green Deal and Paris Agreement. Changes have been introduced in Turkey, and by 2030 we would like to reduce our carbon emissions by 41%. This means the total energy consumed is consumed, 1/3 of energy consumed in Turkey is consumed in households. This is why is our main topic that we're discussing right now. We are striving to create all necessary infrastructure systems, but dear Minister, the new systems are being developed in Europe, like heat pumps, and we would like to develop them in Turkey locally, and we will be expecting your support in that regard as well. When it comes to boilers and radiators, we are leaders in the world. In Europe, market dynamics are changing, and we would like to adapt ourselves to these dynamics as well. And as the Hırvak Exporters Union, it was thanks to the subsidies of ministers that we held international activities in 36 countries, and 6.7 billion USD was the export volume, and we'd like to raise it to 7.2 billion USD. And in this particular point, when it comes to Green Deal, many infrastructural work is being undertaken right now. Energy efficiency is an important thing for us, and we have established our roadmap for that. And I'm going to conclude my remarks as follows. Esteemed Minister, it was thanks to the vision of your ministry that we have set out 2028 targets, and 10.6 billion USD is our export target. We are going to gather with stakeholders to have some detailed work on that. I would like to thank you for your participation, and I hope this exhibition contributes to the entire sector and the country. I hope we'll have great business talks. Thank you. I would like to thank esteemed Mehmet Akışanan. Now I would like to give the floor to esteemed Minister of Trade, Mr. Ömer Bolat.
Hepinize hayırlı sabahlar diliyorum.
Good morning, everyone.
Hannover Messe'nin Sayın Genel Müdürü,
Esteemed General Manager of Hannover Messe,
Federal Cumhuriyeti'nin değerli Başkonsolosu,
esteemed
Türkiye İhracat
Consul General of Germany, esteemed board members of Turkish Exporters Assembly, Deputy Minister,
iş adamları, iş kadınları,
esteemed business people, members of the press.
sektörünün en önemli
This
faaliyetlerinin başında gelen
is basically one of the most important events of the HVAC industry, and this is the of SODEX Istanbul 2023. It's a great pleasure for me to be with you on this occasion, and I'd like to greet you all with respect. 8 local participants we have. This would make almost 900 participants spanning halls in an area of 47,000 square meters. And I believe that it's going to contribute to you greatly. I wish you great business. ISK-SODEX exhibition is among the top 3 exhibitions in Europe and in the world, and Istanbul is very worthy of this particular exhibition. And Istanbul has taken a great leap in the last year, become an important exhibition hub for the world and for Europe. And it was thanks to the great efforts of the government, the Ministry of Trade, and it is very much linked with the emphasis that they all place on the exhibition industry. Well, 69 countries, and we have some 400 buyers, and them coming here, and the taking place. This is quite important. And Hannover Messe and Turkey are collaborating in the field of exhibition, and Germany is an important industrial country. It has advanced economy, and we're happy to see that. And tomorrow in Ankara, we're going to host our counterpart, Günter Havek, with a German delegation of business people. We're going to host them. We're going to have some official meetings, and we're going to have some B2B talks, and hopefully between the 2 countries will have higher volumes of trade. And Germany is one of our greatest trade partners, and hopefully such occasions will help us heighten our already good levels. Esteemed participants, machines and technology products bring along certain conveniences to us, and they're having more and more place in our lives as well. And this pertains to Huvak industry as well. And both in Turkey and in other parts of the world, this industry is taking huge leaps. It's advancing quite significantly. If you think about the nascent stages of this industry 10 years ago, I now can see that it's making its way to the top. The business people, producers and exporters, their number is growing every passing day. And in Turkey, we would like to export our volumes of trade, and we're going to cover all points in the world. And Huvak industry is consistently expanding its trade volumes, and of course it's going to be within our radar as well. Dear entrepreneurs, producers, exporters who are in this industry, we would like to congratulate them. And in 2018, 7 billion USD was the export volume in terms of Huvak industry. And in 2022, this number grew by 56%, and it has reached 11 billion USD. And in 2023, hopefully we're going to conclude it with good numbers. For the past 9 months, we've seen an export boost of 9%, and it is now standing at almost 9 million. And the foreign deficit, we're not really having any foreign deficit when it comes to that. And of course, these numbers are quite important, they're quite promising, but to keep this achievement sustainable, to move it forward, we need to adapt ourselves to rapidly changing global trends. For this particular reason, we need to think about sustainability, we need to adapt ourselves to green and digital transformation, and we also need to align ourselves with green economy, carbon emissions reduction, and diversification of the market. Investments in innovation and R&D are all quite important for us, and it's important for Huvak industry as much as it is important for all other industries. At the Ministry of Trade, we have always been eager to provide any support needed by the industrialists and farmers, exporters and producers. We will keep on standing beside them. And when it comes to compliance with Green Deal, we are undertaking certain efforts in that particular area in coordination with the Ministry of Trade. We are also in constant consultation and coordination with relevant stakeholders of this industry. In the past 12 months, esteemed President has ushered a great range of new activities to boost Turkey as an important player of the world. We have seen some stagnation in global trade in 2023, and unfortunately we were hit by a devastating earthquake in February. But despite all these developments, Turkey's economy is performing even this year, and this also shows how resilient our economy is. 2023, January-September saw an export level of almost 200 billion USD, and since July our export has started to rise again. July, August and September have seen the highest numbers of the year and of history, and hopefully we're going to hit good numbers in October as well. Daily numbers make us quite hopeful, and hopefully we're going to go above the limits that we've already seen, and hopefully we're going to export some 255 billion USD in commodities, and we're going to export 100,000 USD in services. This is how we're going to make sure that we have some revenues in foreign currency as well. And 0.50 to 1.5 was the growth that we achieved in these areas. So farmers, industrialists, engineers, technicians were all involved in this great achievement. Everybody contributed to that, and dear and esteemed participants of the HVAC industry also contributed to this achievement greatly. Thank you very much for this. And the Ministry of Trade would like to increase added value from technologies and products. We also would like to contribute to branding and effective marketing activities. We also would like to be part of global supply chains and improve logistic networks and connections. And these are the areas where we are working intensively, and we're collaborating with industries across. And the Ministry of Trade has had a presence in 80 countries with 1,500 events, and we also helped organize 250 delegations to 60 countries, and we also assist many Turkish companies organize such visits to these countries as well. Yes, we'd like to maintain and preserve our traditional markets. We also would like to focus on Far East countries, African countries, Islamic countries. We would also like to target them, and ISK-SODEX exhibition is important, and we supported it at the Ministry of Trade. This international exhibition, rental fees and booth installation costs, so 50% of that have been supported by the Ministry of Trade, and 69 countries and 400 buyers have been involved, and we also provided support to the financing of this process as well. We had successful discussions in that area, and hopefully the exhibition is going to be quite efficient, and it's going to be quite beneficial as well. I feel that excitement and that kind of an energy even at the very early hours of this exhibition. The government is always going to stand by you, and the centennial of the Republic, we are now celebrating it on these days, and we're going to have some targets in terms of Turkey's 100th year, and we are going to set new targets and policies. And in this respect, for 2028 development plan, we have certain targets. As for commodity exports, 375 billion USD. As for services, 200 billion USD. And we would like to raise the numbers to 1.3%. When it comes to global services industry, we would like to raise our share to 2% from 1.2%. As for medium technology, so we would like to raise it to 50% from 36%. And would like to expand its share to 10%. And last but not least, we'd like to of SMEs to 35% from 26%. These are all among our goals. We're going to work with all our might in that regard. So the technology levels that this industry has attained and the dynamism and energy it has enjoyed has always enabled it to be quite successful, and I believe that it's going to be more and more successful, and hopefully this exhibition and hopefully this great collaboration continue between them.
Kısa bir süre daha izninizle
We will Mr. Minister, keep you on stage for some time. I would like to invite Zeki Poyraz on stage to present a gift as a book gift to our minister.
Sayın Bakanım, bu Türkiye
Mr. Minister, as the Climatization Council of TOB, the Turkish Businessmen Association, we have created this book of our work, and I would like to present this to you as a gift. And unfortunately, the earth is pollution is not at good levels, and I hope new regulations will be developed on this. And thank you very much. I would like to thank you too.
Şimdi de sahneye 100. Cumhuriyetimiz adlı resim yarışması.
We would like to invite Hannover Messe Sodexo Fair General Manager Annika Claire for the competition.
Kıymetli misafirlerimiz, ISK-SODEX ve ISK, Cumhuriyetimiz
ISK-SODEX and ISK has organized for the Centennial of the Republic a competition to create stronger bonds in the society and to carry this to the future generations. We have organized a picture drawing competition between students, and I'd like to invite the winners of this competition on stage. The winners of second category is from Milli Egemenlik Middle School Gamze Sarıyer. I'd like to invite the winner on stage.
Kartal, Profesör Doktor Şaban Teoman Duralı Bilsen Okulu'na
I would like to invite the winner of second category, Mustafa Emin Erdoğan, from the school of Istanbul, Kartal.
şimdi sıra geldi resim yarışması.
And now on to the winners of first category of the competition. I would like to invite the third place winner of the first category, Öykü Demirpolat, on stage.
Halkalı Okyanus Koleji'nden 1. kategori
And now I'd like to invite the second place winner of the first category, İmge Şahin, on stage.
Gülgün Nihat Ömür Anaokulu'ndan 1. kategori birinci
And now the first ranked winner of first category is invited on stage. The winner and her teacher. The winner Elif Aselşen, and I'd like to invite also her teacher on the stage.
ödül alan diğer öğrencilerimizi de toplu fotoğraf çekimi
I would like to invite all other students to have a collective photograph on stage, please. To congratulate all students and all winners. ISK-SODEX is an organization that focuses on sustainability. For this reason, we have donated tree plantings, tree seeds for on all of our behalves to the Minister.
Teşrifleriniz için teşekkür ediyorum.
And I'd like to invite the representatives of
ISK-SODEX'in herkes için verimli geçmesini dilerken etkinlik
I wish ISK-SODEX will be fruitful for all of everyone. Thank you for joining our participation. We can now move on to our VIP event.
Evet evet. Sıkıntı. El mikrofonu. Şu- Şimdi geliyor mu? Tamam şu an geliyor. Temiz bir ses. Deneme 1 2 3 4. Cızırtı yok değil mi altta? Tamam. Birden konuşuyorum. Birden konuşuyorum Ömer. Ne? Türkçe bu. Bu Türkçe. Bu Türkçe. Türkçeden ses geliyor mu? Tamam, problem değil. Belki kanallarda karışmış olabilir takarken. İngilizce de olabilir bu yani. İngilizce mi bu? İngilizceden geliyor mu? Heh, tamam bekle. Bekle ben hemen düzelttim onu. Bekle abi. Şu an ben onu diyorum abi. 2'deyim şu an. İngilizce, İngilizce, İngilizce, İngilizce, İngilizce. Kanal 2. Tamam temiz değil mi? Bir problem yok. Tamam abi. Sesim geliyorsa bir problem yok. Bir canlı yayın vardı az önce kapattığımız. Tekrar bir yayın olacak. Yine sorarım ben şimdi. Okey tamam. Canlı yayın devam ediyor. 1 2 ses kontrol. Başlayayım. Alo. Merhabalar. Sayın katılımcılar ve ziyaretçiler hoş geldiniz. Ben Gökhan Cerrahoğlu, GMC Air firmasının ortağı ve genel müdürü.
Dear guests, welcome. My presentation will be on grill and diffusers. Before starting my presentation, I'd like to give you some information about our company, GMC Air. I am the CEO of GMC Air, and we produce grills and diffusers and fans, and we continue our activities. Before going into this topic, I'd like to share you information about the process. We are a company that was set up in 2006, and since then we have been producing grills and diffusers. In 2006, we decided to enter the US market, and in 2016, we entered the United States market, and we tried to explain our products. We joined fairs and explained our products for 2 years. At the end of 2 years, we unfortunately saw that none of our products were sold. And we tried to identify where the root cause of the problem, and we decided perhaps it's the catalogs that's the problem. We changed it, and then it didn't work out, and then we still were trying to identify the issue. And the root cause of the problem was that, well, the grills and diffusers. How did we first learn about these? When we were set up in 2016, we only inherited the previous generation's diffusers and continued this. However, the root cause of the climate and air conditioning systems is the US. However, our systems weren't within the US standards. Our products were based on EU or other standards, and they were distributed to the market in that way. And we realized only after 2016 that our products were not working, they were wrong. I can go into many details, but we had many different issues. Let me talk about why they weren't preferred in the US. There is a standard product, and they asked about us the airflow speed between the wings, and we just told them we never had encountered that question before, so we didn't know the answer. So we realized that the anemostat, this product, was creating issues because of the distance of the wind and the wings. The product wasn't working, and what can be the alternative of this product? We saw that the anemostat product is different in some ways. They have different varieties in the US which weren't at that time being used in the Turkish market. So it is now 7 years that we couldn't sell this product to the US market because it was the wrong product. It wasn't used in the US. So afterwards, we have gained this experience, and we are trying to take these learnings we gained and bring it to our market. It is the same for other products as well, not only in the diffusers, but also in grills as well and other products as well. So what I'd like you to know is that within these products there are many varieties and many different companies have produced different types of products, but the service points may not be ideal for them. Let me give you some examples. GRD is the abbreviation of grills, registers, and diffusers in the world. If you go to a manufacturer in the US, they would tell you that they are a GRD producer. And G is, we are all aware of this, is the grills. And the registers, we couldn't work out what this means. In English, it means registering something. However, it was used in a different sense and in the US. So they use this register for a product of grill which has dampers. So dampers with grills with dampers are called registers. So why they have a different name for this, or why they have differentiated this product from grills? Well, they use it in order to balance the airflow. If we had calculated this airflow well, we normally wouldn't need dampers. So the difference with the grills and registers are that they are used in very specific locations. Many households or business companies wouldn't have these damper products. You may know the slot diffusers. Many architects use them in their projects, and we took these diffusers and went to the US market and tried to explain this product to them. However, the project managers asked about the dampers behind the product, and we said the speed of air is regulated. Well, they told us that when the right airflow comes, you don't need to use the dampers. And this was the first reason. And secondly, we used the wings, damper wings. Well, we never questioned because these traditions were coming from past. They had two wings. One would direct to the right-hand side, while one would direct to the left-hand side. But in reality, it didn't function like that. We realized that the slot diffusers in the US are very different than our type of wings. So the US market said they couldn't use it that way. I will show you the right, how a slot should be, the right way. So I'm going into really details in dampers because it is important. The grills shouldn't have dampers. You need to sort this airflow issue from the main channel, so you wouldn't need to use the dampers, because once the airflow comes to that damper, it's no longer useful. If you let it to the last point, it's no longer useful, and it's difficult to get the good results. So I have talked about the registers as well. I will continue with this topic. In order to use the products well, these products are called air distribution elements. And we need to know how to identify, how to select the right products for air distribution. Let me give you an example. Let's say an office is built and slot diffusers are installed in this office. There's a desk and then a slot diffuser is installed with an air curtain, let's say. However, this should be located next to the windows, not within the office. However, unfortunately, this is done in that way in all of the projects because architects like the slots a lot. However, it's the wrong solution. Another mistake, another common mistake that's being made is that we put the suction together with the airflow. So, without a homogeneous distribution of air, when there's a blow and then there's a suction. So, without allowing the air distribution within the hole, the blow and suction is put in the same place. It's also not working. For instance, when there's an product to be chosen between grill and diffuser, the choice is made based on refrigeration. So you can't use this in heating, only you can use it for cooling solutions because you have identified the wrong solution. There are some details here, but I'd like to show you something else. If you go to many factories, for instance, or to banks, you will see some flexi materials installed in a very ridiculous way. However, they are the wrong diffuser choices. The products are wrong. However, this is how the system was installed. They have installed a panel, they have installed the cables. However, the blowing equipment is wrong. And the end users comments that they give feedback that the system is wrong. However, if the air distribution products were chosen in the correct way, we wouldn't encounter this solution. This choice of wrong products created this flexi product as well, as you could see. Let me talk about what a grill is. If there's the right distribution, you would have a grill that is with a right wing. And with the diffuser, if you can change the airflow, then it is called a diffuser. And each one of them have different use places. So, but when we use register, it is actually a grill with dampers. For grills, you may have different varieties, different options. There's the distributory, there's the round channel one, many varieties. But if you're not sure where to use which product, there's a risk that the product may not be used in the right place. And then one of the most commonly used grills is that the ones that distribute. This is used for distances of 2 meters, 2.5 meters, and they constantly blow. There's no option of directing this airflow. So, in many projects, they prefer to use anemostats instead of this double blow. However, using this anemostat is not really ideal for 2.5 meters. So, unfortunately, they just use this anemostat as a fixed solution. And in terms of, there are registers, which are grills with dampers, which I mentioned before. So I'm moving on. And then these are some adjustable winged grills. In many parts of the US, this is being used in all of the hotels, in residential areas, and because you can manually adjust these products and you can change the wings both for heating and cooling and create solutions. However, in the grills with double wing, it's not really, there's no function to do this. So when we produce for the US market, we use the linear products. And this would not require you to use a damper from behind it. If you can just close it, it serves as a damper. And these are the grills that are collecting, that are within the market. This is fixed. It doesn't, if it doesn't provide air distribution or a direction to the air, then it's a grill. If it provides a direction, if you can direct the air, then it's a diffuser. So I'll move on to this one to explain why we shouldn't put blow and suction at the same time. There is a Quanda effect. And I'm telling this because you all know about anemostats. When the air blows, there is a certain period when it's just suspended in the air. And it creates a Quanda effect and directly directs itself. If you don't take this into account, the Quanda effect will come into play, and we should really take into consideration. This means the Quanda effect is that when the air catches the surface and it continues along that surface. And here you can see the diffuser selections, which can change from company to company. So there's the horizontal blow ones and the radial ones for high ceiling solutions. In order to get the air from high ceiling to down, you need to create turbulence, and you would see that high impact diffusers would be the right solution for this, for that type of spaces. With these type of products at the right hand side, you can then bring the air from the top to the bottom if there's a high ceiling. And if you cannot change the wings, you cannot use the same system for heating, and the Coanda effect will come into play. So when making these designs, please take into account that the grills or diffusers can be adjustable to be used both for the cooling and heating design. So I mentioned the slot before. Here there's an example of a mistake. Unfortunately, it's of course hard to say that the slots produced for years and years have some mistakes, but this is the type of wing which needs to be in the correct way. So one wing can serve as a damper as well, and they can direct air. So we started to produce these, and now we are producing these for the US market. I'm telling you these because we have changed the whole production line, and now we have these products. However, the old ones are also in the market, so I'm trying to explain the differences. We have a lot of information, but we need to change the old habits as well. These are the type of anemostats that we use in the US market. And the feature is that, the key here is that even if there's a low air pressure, you would have a stable flow. Normally, our products with turbulence wouldn't function. However, this product would be stable. And they don't have plenum box as well. Normally, you would have this box, but they are connected directly from the flexi, from directly you can connect this without the plenum box, and you can directly just connect this product from the behind. It saves you from costs and leakages. You don't have it is sealed. You won't have air leakages, and it's a very economical product as well. And here you have a very flat square diffuser, and it has a capability to produce flat airflow. Again, it can be it is without the box. They can be directly connected to the flexi. And these are the products that we use that are standard and used in the Turkish market. And these are the round anemostats. And you saw before here, these are the diffusers with holes, and it distributes air in a homogenical way together with the air, depending on whether you cool or heat. The perforated holes create the smooth airflow, and then again, you don't have the box behind it. Now, here you can see the diffusers we use in the market, and these are the industrial diffusers. There are many varieties we use in the industry, so we produce for the industry as well. These are the jet diffusers, and then you have the long-range products as industrial. And it is possible to use these products with high ceiling spaces. And you have these drum product. It provides a good solution when you have issues in your projects and in high areas. These are continuance of our industrial products. And then let me add you as well in terms of these boxes. Normally, how does it work? You put this product, you place it onto the anemostat. However, it's wrong. This is not how it's being implemented in the US, and it produces air leakages. Normally, we presented these products, and unfortunately, they were rejected, and we were surprised. So, on the left-hand side, it should be actually the opposite, towards the downward side. Unfortunately, no other boxes are produced this way, and they produce 30% losses. In these systems, it is a high loss. So it would create 30% more, less efficiency if there are losses. The same applies to slot diffusers. Normally, there would be a product, and then these boxes would be placed on top of them, but these lead to air leakages. However, if you did a hole on the sideways and direct it towards downwards, then energy saving can be achieved. Thank you for taking your time and listening to me. Are there any questions? I believe there are not any questions. Thank you very much.
Ses. Ayakta mı? Kalkıyorum. Ses kontrol. Ses geliyor arkadaşlar. Sıkıntı yok. Elimdeki çalışmıyor. Çalışıyor. Sizde var mı? Bunda var. Yok. Lazer ekran yok. Doğru muyum? Başlıyorum. Next. Hepiniz hoş geldiniz. Merhabalar.
Welcome. Good afternoon. This is Arslan Çağlayan Güven and I represent Heat Pump Commission. I'd like to talk about heat pumps that is developing in the world and in Europe. We are here with our esteemed colleagues to provide you information, especially in Europe. There's a heat pump market that is being subsidized with high volumes, and in Turkey we are also striving to reach these volumes as all manufacturers. We are trying to reach high markets, and we will provide you information as manufacturers. If you have any questions, please take note. We will try to receive your questions and answer them at the end of our panel. It's a deep subject, and our panelists are, first of all, Andaç. He will provide information about the developments in the market. Andaç Yakut. He is chair of Heat Pump Commission. Etkin Utkan, he is also in a Heat Pump Commission, and he will provide information about air pumps. And our other panelist is that Pınar Gürler. She's also in our commission, vice chair of the heat pumps solution, and she will provide information about land pumps. The floor is yours, Andaç Bey. Well, thank you, Arslan, and dear guests, welcome. This is Andaç Yakut. I am the chair of ISK Heat Pump Commission. As Mr. Çağlayan mentioned, I will provide to you overview of the heat pumps, and our other colleagues and other panelists will provide further details on the market developments and applications. We have limited time, but at the end of our panel, if you have any questions, we will try to answer your questions. We may now move to our presentation. As I mentioned, we are representing Heat Pump Commission in this presentation. And in 2018, we have accumulated our information and knowledge between our members, and in order to raise awareness and share information and knowledge between members, we have established the Heat Pump Commission in 2018. Our activities include monthly commission meetings, whereby we discuss the agenda items, the developments of the agenda, and what topics we need to monitor. Similar to today, we organize webinars and seminars to raise awareness. And I'm sure you have received it. We have created Turkey heat pump reference booklets, and we created this booklet to create awareness of best practices and special projects, which are all included in this book. And we wanted to both create awareness and to show the best practice applications in this book. In addition, we have some sharing some our views on the heat pump related regulations with related bodies. We create annual statistics to identify the market trends and evaluate market within ourselves. So these have been our activities of the Commission. And let me start by telling that, as you know, that climate change is one of the top agenda items for all of us, starting from with the Paris Agreement. EU have started to become more active on this, and in 2019, EU Green Deal was published. So what is EU Green Deal? In very briefly, the EU has committed to reduce carbon emissions by 55% by 2030 and aims to become net zero carbon emissions by 2050. So become the first carbon neutral in the world. And there are some transition periods. The transition period has already started. There are some stages, and it is very critical for Turkey as well, which we need to monitor very closely. Now, to achieve these targets, the EU have launched new regulations and new laws. They are being regularly updated. To give you a couple of examples, they include the directive on renewable energy in buildings and regulation on fluorescent gas, eco-design and energy tagging regulations. All of these regulations serve to meet this overall targets. Now, reducing carbon fossils and the pollution created by these, and using renewable energy for heat pumps, having high efficiency, low emissions, and being more environmental friendly, these have become much more attractive, and which supports also plays a key role in supporting these goals. Well, when we mention heat pumps, maybe we need to explain what is a heat pump. Sometimes people refer to this as the technology of the future. It's a product, but however, that's not fully true, because this technology have been around for a long time. So what are we talking about when we say heat pump? As you know, we can say that a refrigerating machine and the heating pump can be used for the same function, but for different aims. For refrigerator, they suck air and they aim to cool the environment. However, with the heating pump, our aim is to heat the environment by blowing air into this environment. And the source of these can be soil, air, renewable sources, and the area can be a residential area where we want to heat. The most commonly used is that evaporated. And the most commonly used is the vapor compression evaporator, and you have compressor evaporator. Um, when you want to suck air from an environment, the air is being sucked, and then it is being condensed, and the pressure increasing. The condenser then turns this into a liquid, and when it becomes a liquid, the pressure and heat is reduced, and the cycle is completed. In our initial meetings as the Heat Pump Commission, we have decided to create a definition, and here you can see the definition of the heat pump. Now, if we look at the types of air pumps, we can say that there are three types of air pumps: air-related, water-related, or soil-related one. As you know, in nature you have air which is abundant and free. The air-based ones, can be taken and used for radiators. The advantages of this product is that the service and the maintenance is very easy. Water-based heat pumps use water from the lakes, the main drainage as the source. If the location where we want to heat is close, then we install this inside the space. And then you have soil-based heat pumps. We use soil to transfer heat, and we utilize the heat changing conduit pipes to change the heat. Well, when we talk about heat pumps, we all, of course, understand this is used for heating. However, we can also produce usable hot water, or we can use it for cooling purposes. And we can also use pool water to heat the pool waters.
Isı pompalarının farklı.
And the benefits of heat pumps. Let's also have a look at it. The most important benefits include energy efficiency. So with technology becoming more advanced, air-based heat pumps with 1 unit of electrical power, we can derive 5 units of heating power, and 4 units of power, we actually get it for free. And economic benefits are also included here. Operational expenses of it are low. Maintenance, installation, servicing, and these requirements would be lower compared to other systems. So this is how you basically recoup for the loss that you have to face in the very beginning. It is also not harmful for the world, as this is not based on combustion. It's not going to involve any possibilities of explosion and burning. And it is open to technology innovation in the compressor. It is open to the developments in the cold fluids inside. So we will always see certain improvements along the way. It is environmentally friendly. We have low emission values. It doesn't have any flue, gas, and odor, as it doesn't interact with any of it. It is environmentally friendly. And we have external units as well in small dimensions, so it doesn't really result in any visual pollution. We can also call them aesthetically good, and they're comfortable to use, and it's easy to run and operate these devices. And we talked about some regulations that the EU has set, and some include eco-design and energy tagging and labeling. And what does that mean for us, and how is that important for us? Water-based heating devices in the European Union, for example, Lot 1 has been defined for eco-design and energy labeling, and this is also linked with CE tagging as well, and eco-design requirements. This is for devices with a capacity up to 400 kilowatts, and for energy tagging, we are talking about devices with a capacity of 70 kW maximum. Lot 1 in Turkey was published and became effective some years ago in Turkey. And to which devices does it cover? All water-based heat pumps, so from air to water, water to water, and soil to water heat pumps are all covered under Lot 1. It covers boilers, it covers solar panels, and it covers boilers, hot water tanks. And as you can see here, eco-design requirements include energy efficiency, district heating, energy efficiency, maximum emission values, and sound strength level and product information. If your device does not meet these requirements, you cannot obtain a CE certification, and this is how you cannot really put your device on the market. So your device will have to meet these requirements at minimum. And with Lot 1, the definition of energy efficiency has changed as well. It only depended on a single temperature point to calculate energy efficiency. And seasonal efficiency has been put forward as a new definition. This is basically in opposition to the nominal efficiency because it turned out to be inaccurate. So seasonal efficiency, it does not only focus on a single temperature point, it looks at the entire heating season, and together with full loads, so it looks at the efficiency in partial loads as well. So this is how we understand the importance of inverter technology. And what did that mean? Compressor and rotating frequency in a sensitive manner. It prepares it, adjusts it according to the load in the environment, and it brings high energy efficiency. After seasonal efficiency, we have seasonal district heating energy efficiency, and it has also been defined. So it has been defined as eta-S, with eta-S and SCOB, the primary energy factor has been put forward. And the reason behind it was that everything has to be denominated in that, so this is how we can have fairer comparisons in terms of energy efficiency. Here on the screen you can see minimum local or district heating energy efficiencies. When you look at heat pumps, you see high temperatures and high temperatures, and you have minimum values for energy efficiencies. Any device you will produce or import, if it doesn't meet the requirements of energy efficiency, you're banned from putting it on the market. And energy labeling samples, it has been effective since September 2019 in Turkey. The ones that you can see on the left are heat pumps with district heating only, and the one in the middle with combined heaters together with district heaters, they are heat pumps that help us have hot water and package type heaters, and the tagging for that is related with solar panel, temperature control device, and a hot water tank. This all includes these items, and these will all be displayed on this tag and label. So the heat pumps that are already efficiency, we want to improve their energy efficiency with additional features, and this is how we display them here. And we also need to find out what's really happening in terms of energy efficiency. International energy efficiency. uh, International Energy Agency has a report, and according to that, there's going to be there was an 11% growth in Turkey, and in Europe it had 40% growth, so 3 million units it basically reached. So this is the total sales of heat pumps. And you would also understand from the table in 2022, heat pumps had an increase of 51% from air to water. And environmental policies of the European Union are quite ambitious, and there are emission reduction targets, quite ambitious ones, and the war between Russia and Ukraine and the hike in natural gas prices were also the factors. And end users now focus on highly energy efficient and more environmentally friendly heat pumps, so they're more interested in such a transition. And the European Union would like to facilitate this transition, and that's why they offer certain subsidies. We're going to look into that in detail, and energy reliance, and in order to reduce it by 2030, 60 million heat pumps have been set as a target within the European Union. And how is that the case in Turkey? And this is a statistical work of ISK, and you see the results of this work. Well, household type heat pumps from air to water, you see the sales figures over the years. The past 3 years demonstrate some increase, but the pandemic and various reasons and factors somehow slowed down the pace of this rise. It is not at the levels, at the same levels as the European Union. If you look at 2023, 13,000, it is only at a level of 4%, and while the inability of the market to grow at a sufficient level, there are many reasons behind it. In Turkey and in many regions, we have natural gas. In Turkey, unfortunately, we don't have adequate level of subsidies. The fast increase in foreign currencies, and this also has a negative impact on the first investments, and this basically pushes buyers to natural gas based devices. And you also see some increase in after 2019. This is linked with the pandemic. There have been people who moved to their summer houses, and they wanted to invest in their future. And this is the reason behind this increase. And there were people who wanted to replace their existing pumps, and we can describe this increase with these reasons. And for these targets to be attained, European Union offers certain subsidies, incentives, I told. And here is an example, and you'll see some of the examples of subsidies, and of course low interest loans, grants and tax returns are the forms through which incentives can be offered, and certain evaluation criteria are in place. When you are offering a subsidy, you definitely need to look at the energy efficiency of a device, in which building that device is going to be used. If the house is ideal for the use of heat pumps, the income levels of the people in that household. So subsidies are allocated by looking into such criteria. So subsidies, incentives are quite high, as you can see, for building renovations, or if you are to construct a new building, these are the new subsidies. So you can basically benefit from grants of up to 15 million euros for renovations in Germany. For example, I wanted to share this with you as an example. This is all from my side right now, and my colleagues will talk about examples in further detail. Thank you. Thank you very much, dear Andaç, especially the situation on the ground in Europe. Thank you very much for that insight. And for heating, we use fossil fuels, and 99% of it, we import of it. So we are quite reliant on imports as for energy, and heat pumps is quite important in terms of self-sufficiency. And Etkin Ukan Gerek is going to talk about air-based heat pumps. Welcome. I'd like to thank Andaç and Aslan. I will talk about air-based heat pumps and its applications. Well, first and foremost, the resources Andaç mentioned, but let's have a look at it in further detail. Heat pumps improve their energies with natural resources, and they then turn it into district heating. We have three different sources: soil, air, and water. But we see different developments in the world, so air-based heat pumps have become popular. And after the war between Ukraine and Russia, we've heard district heating solutions as well. This is why heat pumps have become important. As for applications, we'll see three main methods. We have collectors and wells for heat pumps, and in Turkey for households it is more limited in number. And as for plant installations, higher buildings and shopping malls, you'll see these applications. I mean the soil heat pumps. As for water-based heat pumps, wastewater, to evaluate wastewater coming out of factories, or using it in process heating or district heating purposes could be an application. And for hotels, district heating. And then we see also air-based heat pumps. Compared to all other applications, you see the greatest difference for the primary side. It doesn't require any additional application. It's easiest to use. So you can take air from the exterior sources, and together with internal fittings, it can climatize, cool, and heat water. So this is the most popular. And Andaç mentioned the market in Turkey. So 13,000 in quantity for 2022, and we're going to see some 10% of increase. So we're going to see 15,000 units for 2023. They're going to be household heat pumps mostly, so from 4 kilowatts to 16 kilowatts per hour. And these are used in villa projects, for pension projects, and 4 kilowatts of over 10 kilowatts. And for higher kilowatts, we have cascade heat pumps. And functions and applications. What can we do with heat pumps, really? And what kind of systems can we install? What kind of controls can be carried out there? Well, we can control the heating circuit. We also can check buffer tanks. We can check the temperature of buffer tanks. Well, external request prompted operations, for example, and we can have hybrid operations, natural gas driven boilers, and heat pumps can help us check the process, we can heat the swimming pools with electricity optimization. Photovoltaic panels can be used, and coordinated rooftop panels can generate more efficiency with the help of heat pumps as well. So this is how we serve the intended purpose. So this is how we can basically design buildings with almost zero consumption of electricity. So what about the schemes of heat pumps? At which points do we implement heat pumps? Here you can see heating and hot water for use, for general use. And the pointer is not working, I guess, but I will show it manually. Here you see a buffer tank, and then over there, this is an own boiler heat pump, and the district heating or district cooling. The functions are there. And for general use water, we have some connectors. As long as there is solar power, the water for general use is going to be heated with that, and when solar power is not available, heat pumps will be addressing that need. So we have such systems in place, and some household applications in Europe. Thermal solar collectors have been replaced by photovoltaic solar panels, and to heat the water for general use, and together with heat pumps for sure. And what's important here is that and well, heat pumps can basically quadruple the energy efficiency up to 4 times, I mean, and photovoltaic panels for 12 months. When we dimension them, when we think about a process of 12 months, and you can basically maximize energy efficiency with heat pumps. So thermal collectors can be replaced by photovoltaic panels. Is if you cool domestic water, you can use heat pumps for two different purposes. The first is if you want to cool the water, you can use fan coils. So you do it with water up to 7 temperatures. You can operate fan coils, and you can feed the system this way. This is one of the diagrams, and I'm not going to call it cooling, but this is basically from the ground cooling. Imagine from the ground heating systems. So you can basically have different dehumidification systems, because when the relative humidity reaches a certain level, normally heat pumps can do the feeding up to 7 Celsius degrees. But as for ground cooling applications, you need to look at the humidity, relative humidity, and feeding can be done with the heat pump up to 20 Celsius degrees if the building is designed in a way to be ideal for ground cooling. This also allows us to control the air, but if you want to have full control, you may add fan coils to be used in cooling and heating, or you can also carry out radiators for buildings where we have modernization, and fan coils can be used for cooling purposes in that particular example. Yes, heat pump control functions. External demand, I said, while natural gas boiler or with combis, it can be operated in a hybrid fashion. Heat pumps can run in two different versions. Here is the diagram. Buffer tank is here, and you see another fitting here. So you can basically run them with two ways. The first is basically related with the highest COP efficiency. When the exterior air is above half Celsius degree, the heat pump does the heating, of the building. And if that is not the case, it is deployed together with the boiler itself, and it aids the boiler. And the output water temperature can be at the level of 50 Celsius degrees or 60 Celsius degrees, and as long as it is the case, because for exterior weather, the exterior air can change, and this is how the outlet water can change. Of course, exterior air has a huge impact for air-based heat pumps. So the designed temperature should fit actually the exterior air, but it is also possible and it is viable to operate them with boilers. So only a few readjustments in the entire system will enable you to modernize or repurpose the heat pump existing in the building. Cascade applications. So power unification methods we can follow here. It depends on the brand. So how many cascades you're going to do and what's the need of the building. Such applications can be done domestic water temperature or the heating of a swimming pool in the building. So cascade power unification models can be deployed here. Applications requiring or involving heat recovery. This is a method followed by hotels, for example. Heat pumps, as you know, as they are doing the cooling together with their cycles, the cold fluid inside and the heat that it carries, because normally the heat pumps basically act as exchangers between temperatures. So as it does the cooling, with a second exchanger, the heat recovery can be attained and the domestic water can be stored this way, and this is why it is used in the hotels. And what about its benefits? One single device, and you do the cooling with it and you do the heating with it, and instead of using two separate devices, you use only one device, and it is basically low cost for you. And last but not least, well, from the very beginning of my speech, I was emphasizing energy efficiency, especially electricity, but hybrid adoption of heat pumps made them even more meaningful. So photovoltaic panels, I would like to talk own consumption and surplus production and feeding it into the grid. So regulations like that have been established in Turkey. For the household side, it's a bit slower, and with incentives in the industrial applications, you can see photovoltaic systems in factories, but for heat pumps and photovoltaics, we don't really have regulations that allow household practices, but this is how the world is headed, this is how the systems are headed, and I believe that regulations will be established for the household applications as well. Yes, heat pumps. Well, it is like other electric devices, like washing machine, dishwasher, so it basically consumes power. Together with own consumption, it is important, together with photovoltaic panels. In Turkey, Arslan was talking about it, the greatest portion of our foreign deficit comes from our need for electricity and energy, natural gas and oil, and well, key arguments about them is basically their unavailability in Turkey. So we import these sources, and these systems allow us to address that. And we've seen an example of that with the war between Russia and Ukraine. Natural gas supply has been limited, has been constrained, and then heat pumps and photovoltaic panels have been put in place. And we started using decentralized systems there, or our house can act as its own center where energy is generated automatically. So the electricity that heat pump consumes, if you basically derive that power in an environmentally friendly manner, you basically address the problem of CO2 emissions, and these are going to be even more important in the coming years. So very briefly, I'd like to share an example with you. Photovoltaic panels, so 10 kilowatts of a photovoltaic panel. So this is the voltage. If you want to convert it into alternative, we use inverters, and electricity is then generated. And in order to heat a household, it is basically 1 to 4. 1 unit of energy can be increased to 4 units of energy. This is how you address the need for energy. But then you may ask, in days where it's not sunny, how is that really going to work? How to really dimension the photovoltaic panels when there is not really additional space for on the rooftop? But you need to think about it in 12-month terms, because photovoltaics will be more productive in summer. And so when you look at the entire year and the losses and the gains, so this is how you'll understand the full benefits of this system. And things to be considered for efficient practices, especially as you're installing air-based heat pumps. One is related with diagrams, buffer tank applications, for example. Well, I am working with some dealers in my own company, and I've been hearing it from some project developers. Buffer tank application for the household side, it is sometimes ignored, and sometimes we fail to understand the importance of it. So without a buffer tank, heat pumps are connected with the installation. So I would like to talk about its importance, to be honest, because when you look at it in a traditional fashion, the combi 15 Celsius degrees of delta T, this is how it's basically planned, as its operating ranges are flexible. In district heating, for example, you won't really have a problem, but heat pumps, you need to look at its catalogs, so they can operate with 5 Celsius degrees of delta T. So for the device to run efficiently, you need to consider its life cycle as well. There's 5 Celsius degrees of delta T, and the temperature difference for the inflow and outflow needs to be taken into account. This is why buffer tanks are important. So buffer tanks can be connected like that with 7 degrees of delta T, so 28 Celsius degrees of outflow here. With electricity resistance, you can support it too, or for the return in order to expand the volume of water, because capacity base and model base minimum water volumes are going to be at stake. So you need to find out the catalogs of that, and you need to understand the service requirements. These are important because modernization projects will require that. When you put heat pumps there, radiator meters, and the retention of water and the capacities for that may not be adequate. So even for that, buffer tanks are important. Otherwise, water pumps may fail. And the most important application will be that this is how you use the buffer tank. And for ground heating practices and applications, delta T and 5 Celsius degrees, how to really warm the household? You may wonder, well, you probably will not be able to do it only with heat pumps, but buffer tank, on the primary side, I mean, it's important to reach the delta T there. And we're not able to do it there, but what's correct is to use it. And on the return water, this water, you basically soften it. So on the primary side, you attain 5 Celsius degrees. On the secondary side, you attain 7 Celsius degrees. So 5 Celsius degree in the heat pump, this is how we're making sure that it's consuming less electricity. So the heat pumps will operate at 10 degrees for sure, but the compressor will have to use higher levels of pressure and higher levels of temperature, and this will basically eat away your life cycle in the heat pump. And the exchanger, for example, it's going to be even more tiring. So for 3 to 5 years, we're not really using heat pumps for only 3 to 5 years. We are going to install it for periods of 20 years, 25 years. And in order to attain this life cycle, you need to take these precautions. So this is all from my side. And thank you very much for your participation. Thank you.
Doğan Bey teşekkür ederiz. Özellikle
Thank you, Ahmet, especially for the technical detail you shared. And Pınar will share information about the soil and air-based systems. Welcome, thank you. I will talk about the water and soil-based heat pumps, and my presentation will be based on visuals, and at the end I will try to answer your questions. As Andaç Utkan tried to mention, heat pumps include a wide range of definition. It can be from air to air, air to water, water to air, or water to water heat pumps. And you have the condenser side and the air side. And when we said from air to water pumps, you will have the air conditioners, split air conditioners. From air to water, you have the air-based heat pumps or air cooling heat pumps, and from water to air, you have WSHP and other ones, and from water to water, you have the water to water heat pumps or water cooling heat pumps. When we say water to water, you can have the device using the water sources, and at the building site it is heating and cooling the water, both for the condensers and evaporators. Another heat pump is that cascade systems. These are cascaded systems, and they have 2 levels. First, the device produces water at 25 to 30 degrees, and then because it produces at these medium temperatures, you have this is the first level, and then the second level is the heat pump that produces water at a degree of 70 to 90 degrees, and you will have these in some brands. And then you have multifunctional units with 4 to 6 pipes, and they both cool and heat at the same time. And when we come to the soil-based systems, the soil side is closed circuit. Water is distributed within the pipes that are under the soil. There will be horizontal applications, vertical applications. Another system is the open loop system. As you can see, this is where we use the seawater or river water, pool, or the water you can use directly from the source. And then we have these systems where you have the based on towers and boilers, and you can support these systems with a cooling tower, or alternatively we have hybrid systems that are used both soil-based and water-based. You can combine these 2 systems. And why soil? Because soil can capture the heat between 10 to 17 degrees, or in gradual meters. First 100 or 200 meters are where we are interested in. When you look at the soil heat, you can see the now changes depending on the depth of soil. At 5-6 meters, the soil temperature is around 17 degrees, both winter and summer. So we will be using this heat. And then the key feature of the soil-based heat pump is the heat transparency. The more humidity the soil has, the better it is in terms of transiting this heat. So we prefer humid soil. And it's also important to have the distance between pipes, the filling material is important, type of pipes, whether it is U-shaped or other shaped, distance between wells, and drilling distance. These are many parameters that has to be optimized in a correct way. And in order to, when you look at these values, they're in terms of soil types or transition of heat, there's no standard. For this reason, before making any application, we make a drilling and we measure and apply some thermal tests in order to identify the values, because there aren't standard values. And you can see the visuals here, and this is the application of a horizontal lying. Pipes can be laid down horizontally or in a vertical way using surfaces. And in vertical applications, we use U-shaped pipes for 100 kilometers of depth, and we use these wells. We fill them and we use them for the heat exchange. Again, there are some variety of applications here. Another application is that, as you can see here, if there is already some, we can use some of the poles. If you already have some poles under the building, they are being utilized. And advantages of these systems is high energy efficiency, not being affected by external air conditions, and having low maintenance cost, and also being environment friendly. However, the cons include the cost of initial investment being high, and lack of sufficient space under the soil, and lack of subsidies, sufficient subsidies, and also balancing the burdens for heating and cooling. So these should be evaluated on a project-based, case-by-case basis. When you look at the applications in Turkey, you can see a 1,000 kilowatt capacity and shopping mall in Ümraniye, and airspace, and then you have a public building in Istanbul. You see other villa projects, and there are many different applications. When we look at Meydan shopping mall in Istanbul, it was the largest soil-based. It was a hybrid application, and in total there was a drilling of 18,000 kilometers, and it was a hybrid. We use all other models from water to water, and then we used air conditioners with water cooling. We use all different models and different types of water pumps in this project. Another system includes is this. Although we don't have many applications in Turkey, but if you have a lake near and you can install these pipes underneath the lakes, and here you see the hospital project at the top, and at the bottom you will see a school projects whereby some artificial lakes have been created and underneath pipelines have been mounted um, for heat exchange with soil. If you have a well, you can use well water, and these types of waters will have a fixed heating, and the most important part here is that to have a steady flow of water, so that the water isn't just ad hoc, but it should be that you should be able to continuously draw water. Another project you will see is that the largest project in Turkey with underwater sources, it uses underwaters from the ground, and it uses 10 megawatts of around 1,000 flow rate capacities, and it supplies for the entire shopping mall, and all of the devices are now provided by these underwater sources. And then you will have the sea applications. If you are near a sea or source of a sea, for instance, you will have the seawater temperature in Aegean Sea between 14 to 25 degrees. In Marmara Sea, you will have 26 degrees. And in Mediterranean, you will have up to 30 degrees sea temperature. And if you have a source like this, you can use the seawater. Sea-based systems, we take the seawater, and it goes through a device. It has to come through a certain depth, and the key is that first the seawater goes through a self-cleaning filter, and then go to exchanger. And this is one of the applications that we make. These are using heat pumps with 6 pipes, water-to-water heat pumps, and this is in Istanbul Metropolitan Municipality, used both for administrative buildings and in other use areas. And after we decided to use heat pump systems here, we were thinking whether we should use the seawater or support it through the tower. And as a result of the study, we identified that if we use seawater, 200,000 euro would be the cost annually. And if we use towers and the cost would be 315,000 euros. There is a cost saving. These types of applications usually compensate within 1 year or less, especially with it is efficient for projects which has a stable sea temperature, and depending on the project we need to use exchangers, and free water is created, and efficiency levels can reach 9 to 10 very high levels. And it's important for especially hotel projects where cooling and heating is important, and it is common-wide in those projects. Those are some examples for lake and water-based projects. Another application is wastewater. If you already have wastewater, you can use a heat pump to use it. This is from a cement factory in Bursa city. And by using this compensator. We use a higher degree of heating, and multifunctional heat pumps. Here, the key is that when we do heating and cooling at the same time, when this is being done, the device is achieving 100% regeneration. So it means that the warm water is created for free. This is an application from a chocolate factory within the industry applications. This ensures both melting of the chocolate, and on one side you need to melt, on the other side you need to cool to fit into molds. So on one hand, cold water is being used with 5 to 9 degrees, and then on the other hand, water temperature can be 63, 58, and the system can cover its costs within 1 to 2 years. This is all I have to say. Thank you for listening to me, and I can answer your question. I'll leave the floor to Aslan. Thank you for listening to us. These will be our presentations. I can take any questions if you have any. And let me ask you a question. Are anyone here use the heating pump technologies at home? Actually, we all use. Don't you have refrigerators? So we're not rediscovering something. This is a technology that we already know. We are trying to develop it, make it better, and the key is to make a good design. At any point in Turkey at the time, from Erzurum to Bodrum, you can use heat pump. It can be soil-based, water-based, or air-based, or it can be used from wastewater. And this is what we are trying to highlight. Europe especially is progressing in this matter, particularly after the Ukraine-Russia war, and there are subsidies to support this. In Turkey, there's lack of sufficient subsidies, and we are making demands of this so that we can use, for instance, the solar panels in our roofs, or do this free of charge. We can do this free of charge. And there are many examples of this in Europe and in the world, but we are still need some areas to develop. This is an area we have. And also cities like Istanbul, Ankara, ISK-SODEX, which have been using natural gas for a long time, they are now being transformed. So instead of natural gas, if we use hybrid systems, for instance, combining natural gas and heat pump, then maybe we need to calculate the cost saving for us. Currently, 50% of natural gas is being subsidized by government, and when these systems are designed well, they can be really cost effective, and you can think of it in a way that the taxes we pay can return to us in a beneficial way. So this is our request from our state. If you have any questions, we can answer. A microphone will be handed to you. Hello. So the presentation focused on residential heat pumps. When we talk about industrial heat pumps, are you making any studies for industrial high degree of temperature? Thank you. This is to our panelists, Pınar. Actually, I have mentioned the industrial heat pumps in my presentation. With the newly developing technologies, we will have heat pumps that produce heat up to 100 degrees, and we can use this with wastewater. There could be air-based or water-based model. If you wish, you can contact us directly for detailed information. Thank you. Any other questions? If you have any other questions, we can take them. If not, then I would like to thank you for, on behalf of myself and my colleagues, for listening to us. Have a good day.
Ses, hey, hey, prova. Test, prova, ses, prova. Hey, prova, test, prova 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Prova 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test deneme. Ses, prova 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test deneme cihaz kontrol. Ses, prova. Hey, prova. Test, prova 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Test deneme 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, a, say, hey, prova. Test, prova 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, prova. Ses, hey, prova, test, prova 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, a, ses, prova. Hey, prova, test, prova 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Prova deneme 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, a, say, hey, prova. Test, prova, hey, prova. Geliyor mu? Hey, prova. Hey, prova. Ses, prova, ses. Hey, a, hey, prova. Hey, prova. Hey, prova, test, prova. Tamam, onda var mı şu an? Onda yine. Hey, prova. Test, prova 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, a, say, hey, prova. Test, prova 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, a, hey, a. Hiç mi yok? He? Aç. Test, prova. Hey, hey, a. Hey, prova. Beni aç. Hey, prova. Ben nereye? Gidiyor mu? Tamam, simultaneden oraya geliyor ya. Tamam. Ses Pro 1 2 3 4 5. Test Pro 1 2 3 4 5. Ses Pro 1 2 3 4 5. Test Pro 1 2 3 4 5. Ses Pro 1 2 3 4 5. Test Pro 1 2 3 4 5. Geliyor mu şu an? Hiç. Ses Pro 1 2 3 4 5. Test Pro 1 2 3 4 5. Ses Pro 1 2 3 4 5. Ses Pro 1 2 3 4 5. Test Pro 1 2 3 4 5. Ses yani bir küçük yine var ama daha iyi. Ses Pro'ya Test